Okay, we're live. Ready to go live. I have to not do Twitter. Remove that one. Okay, I'm live. All right, good. I had to make an adjustment. Had to make an adjustment. Good evening, Willard. Coach X is here. Dank Crypto Nuts. Prince. How's everyone doing? Audio good? So how this works is if I follow you on Twitter, then you can speak. Meaning you have the mic and you can speak. That's how we're doing this now. That way I don't have to give people the mic so much. Pulse TGC, you're a speaker. Mikey is here. Am I muted? I am muted on. Now my mic is not muted. Okay.
How's my mic? It's good?
Yep, I hear ya.
Sweet.
Yeah, everybody's just kind of piling in. Willie Belong is here on YouTube and Willard. He hears me, Lima Charlie. Right on. And I think that must be Zen in the gold.
Yeah, make him co-host.
Okay. There we go. It says speaker. It says he's a speaker. Oh, he has an invite to be a co-host. All right. It's Open Mic Monday.
What's up, Banana? What's up, Coach?
He's in.
Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Yep. Hear you good. What's going on in pTGC land?
Coming close to all-time high against Pulse. I would say we're one of the only projects here on Pulse Chain doing that, so that's the most exciting stuff going on.
Tell you what, that's amazing. I shouldn't be amazed, but
yeah,
I'm just,
pretty
I guess,
red day over on Pulse Chain, but at least a little green for us.
A little happy.
You know, one step at a time in the right direction.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I will share a little bit of data on that. I shared it in the Telegram chat. I think it was yesterday and also today. So I'm showing to the viewers on YouTube, I've been tracking the Pulse pTGC and the Pulse UFO ratio. So pTGC, I think I mentioned this on Saturday too, but we got 3 days more of data. The pTGC Pulse ratio has increased 23% in the last, looks like 10 days, 11 days. And UFO has increased 16%. What's interesting, what I find interesting, Zen, is that so I'm tracking the ratio every day, and it almost every day it increases. But pTGC has pulled back one day, and that's the gray. All the rest of the readings are black, and the gray one is the pullback. Now, if you look at UFO, it has pulled back 4 days, 4 different times. And those are again in the gray. Yet and the ratio has increased faster with pTGC. And yet we were just talking last week about the UFO chart being more stable. Well, how does that compute? Can you speak to that? I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just looking at this data and now I have questions.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking at your spreadsheet since I'm on my phone on the spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So, if UFO has increased more against PLS than pTGC, I think pTGC's been outperforming at least better in the last couple days. So I'm guessing maybe UFO was increasing more rapidly earlier this week, but that's really the only thing I can think of, because all it's based on is the market in general is going to either tug us up against pulse or down against pulse. Usually when the market's red, the altcoins we're connected to will start tugging us down against pulse because everything is a leverage play on pulse. So Pulse X is kind of a leverage play on pulse. Bink is a leverage play on pulse. PDI is kind of a leverage play on pulse, a little less. But so if the market's a red day, all those are usually going to drop more than pulse itself. And then on a green day, all those are going to go up more than pulse itself.
Okay.
So if we keep outperforming pulse, and then the whole entire market is crashing, that actually is a really strong signal, because that doesn't mean we're not only fighting the pull down of pulse, but we're also fighting the pull down of all the other tokens we're connected to, if those are going down as well. Once green comes to pulse chain, all those other alts are most likely going to outperform pulse chain due to them being leverage plays on them. So on pulse as well. So we'll get a push up against pulse from not only buys directly on us, but then also buys on the alts we're connected to. And then also because of pulse chain increasing in price, but that is more of an even drag up. If pulse chain increases in price and we go up just from pulse chain, well, you don't actually increase the ratio against pulse chain. It just still remains the exact same number.
Okay.
But if the alts, for example, UFO has a ton of liquidity with alts. If those alts, let's say, just keep outperforming pulse, well, just from those alts outperforming pulse will outperform pulse with even zero buys on UFO. But if we get buys on UFO also, we get an amplifier of the buys on UFO, then we get the amplifiers of the alts moving up against pulse, and then also we get the bonus of pulse moving up in value.
Right.
So there's a lot of things building up, which we really haven't seen yet with UFO. Since UFO's launched, pulse chain in general, and all the alts have been only down. So everything UFO has done has been specifically just UFO moving up on its own. But with pTGC, we've actually seen how this actually works in a small glimpse, which was the 4 to 5x from pulse chain. So that was kind of like a glimpse of when this ecosystem starts to thrive, how everything tends to move up. So Pulse X actually moved up more than Pulse. Ink moved up more than Pulse. PHEX, I don't know that one off the top of my head, but we know PDI definitely moved up more than Pulse. So we've gotten a glimpse at how all these move up, and then we know pTGC moved up against Pulse. And that was just a glimpse. That's just a 4 to 5x from bottom. I think it's 1x or 2x, whatever you want to call it, 100% over the sacrifice rate. I think we're all betting on Pulse Chain doing a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
Or a lot better. So
yeah.
That's why I like to call it a glimpses. That was kind of a glimpse of the future could hold, just based on math and liquidity and just the mechanics of how blockchains work. So what we can kind of see is something similar to that coming in the future. But now we have the equation UFO that's not only doing its own thing, but also increasing the price of pTGC with every single transaction as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, indeed. I started tracking the Ethereum volume. Been tracking the Pulse volume. My spreadsheet, I keep adding to it. Like every week, I'll add a column here, a column there. That's just how these spreadsheets go. It's like building a business. You know, it never ends. You're always adding on. But so I started tracking the Ethereum volume just 4 days ago. And on the oldest reading had $1.4 billion in volume. And today, it was half that. So, I mean, things are not just slow over here in Pulse Chain, but they're slow in Ethereum too.
Yeah, Gwei's been super low on Ethereum, that's for sure. Someone told me, I don't know if this was true, I never verified it, that we had pretty much, if not the slowest, but one of the slowest volume days on Pulse Chain. I think it was yesterday they told me that, or maybe the day before.
Well, let me look. Well, the 17th, which was Saturday, had the Pulse volume was $4 million. And since I've been taking readings since July 19th, and that is the lowest reading I've seen.
Yeah, they said that was the number that they said was 4 million. They said it was the lowest. I don't know if that's accurate, but it's definitely low. So
I get mine from
on the whole entire block.
Yeah, I take my reading from Dex Screener. I just pull up all the dexes. The dexes, and that's where I get it. And then Ethereum, I do this. I get my reading from Dex Screener also for Ethereum, and that's the lowest reading I've got, just in 4 days. So it could be that both networks were just extremely slow that day, and it was a Saturday too. So
the overall market is very slow at the moment.
Yep.
If you look at Jake Aiken's recent post or Kyle Chassey's recent tweet, they're just basically saying, "Damn, I'm bored as shit right now."
Yeah, I have seen screenshots of Gwei at a fraction. Less than one, like 0.83 Gwei or something like that. And I just Googled it. The average price for Gwei and Ethereum today was 3.1 Gwei, which is nuts. That's the cheapest I've ever seen it. Really.
Yeah, I saw it that low as well. It was like 0.83 Gwei. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
like, this is wild.
I believe it's normally a good sign, though, when volume drops like this at a bottom, because that usually means people are exhausted on selling.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got to be swinging around at some point, even if it's 6 months from now, man. Like I was saying a couple weeks ago, it's still clearly time to continue dollar cost averaging if that's within our means.
Yeah, I'm still working my job. Work your job, and if you feel comfortable with it, right now is pretty much the best price you're going to get Pulse Chain for. And in my opinion, if you're getting Pulse Chain at really cheap prices, that technically means you're getting UFO and pTGC at really cheap prices too, because they're heavily, heavily bonded in liquidity. So As soon as Pulse Chain leaves the station, so does all the pTGC and UFO prices.
Yeah.
I know that's not everyone's ability to pull in more capital. Some people aren't working the jobs, or they don't have extra funds, which is completely understandable. But if you do, I look at this stuff as opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's, once we're in a full on bull market and there's actually euphoria, which I heard on a stream the other day, there was something going on. I was like, that is what euphoria sounds like. And when we are there, we're going to look at our bags and we'll be like, wow, I'm so glad that I was taking care of business back in August 2024, and the months prior. I think we're going to be very happy. We just got to get through the nasty now and now before we can get to the sweet by and by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, pTGC and UFO will be monsters at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of liquidity they'll have, the amount of volume that will be flowing through these pools, and buy and burns that will be happening will be pretty insane.
Yeah. So we added, let's see if I can find the tweet. We added about $1,300 in, was it pTGC and ink today? To the
I don't
LP?
know the exact dollar amount, but it was roughly
No,
100.
3,200. 3,200.
Okay.
1,700 of pTGC and 1,700 of ink.
There you go. Okay. So we've been.
Ink's pretty much at a bottom right now. So now we're pretty much scooping up ink at a bottom and pairing pTGC with it, or buying up pTGC and buying up ink. So we have to buy up both, which is increasing the price of pTGC, and locking them together and burning it at the bottom of ink, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah. So
It was almost 1,000 ink. I love it. I love
Sweet.
seeing it. It's like there's another 1,000 ink straight to the community.
yeah. So we've been doing. I'm just kind of getting the big picture here. So I'm gonna put it my way, is that we have been doing this every week, adding LP, just a little bit at a time. If you can call, $1,700 a little bit. In the broader spectrum, it really is just a little bit. We're a micro cap, so a little bit now can be a big bit later, but let's call it what it is. It's a little bit. But doing that week after week for 10 months now has really made an impact in the LP pools. And it's gonna.
Yeah, it's a combination of liquidity adds and buy and burns. So sometimes we are doing buy and burns and stuff like that, but but right now we've been doing majority liquidity pairings just because the RH tokens are just at such a discount right now, and we've already seen what happens when there's a little bit of price action on RH tokens and what that liquidity pairing really does for our ecosystem. It just sends our ecosystem to ridiculous numbers, and then as the RH tickers go up in price, obviously these liquidity pools increase in price at that same rate. So if ink, let's say, goes up 5x, well, whatever our liquidity pool with ink now has gone up 5x. So now we're not only dealing with let's say it's a $30,000 liquidity pool right now, but then it would be 5 times that.
I also want to bring up the point, Prairie, that, today could have been a 100% buy on pTGC for almost $3,700.
Yep.
Which currently right now, we're right on the precipice of breaking into new all-time highs against Pulse Chain, just going up above that last wick. In general, the crypto space is all about hype. And even though it's exciting to break into new all-time highs, it didn't make sense to do a pure buy and burn when Pulse Chain and Ink are down there at a double bottom, basically, because the real value is in the LPs.
Okay.
So it's just a breath of fresh air, because the protocol is doing exactly what you would want it to do from an investor standpoint, not as a hype FOMO standpoint. the moves that we're making now will massively impact later. And I think that's very impressive.
Yeah. As much as I want green candles, I'm also happy to be.
I mean, I think, Prairie, if we did a pure buy and burn today, we would have probably been damn near right at a new all-time high.
Huh. Yeah, but I'm not, like I was saying, as much as I want green candles, the red candles are good too, because we're able to we're able to affect our future today more because we have red candles. Make the protocol stronger, you know.
When you look at how fast Pulse Chain moved just after Richard's video in December, when you look at how fast that train left the station, it's all you need to know, man.
Can you summarize his message to us? Because I don't remember the context. I remember it was like an 8 or 30-minute Christmas message.
Oh, it was more like almost a 2 hour.
Okay.
2 hour, 35 minutes.
Okay.
And I couldn't even summarize it, man, because he was all over the place with 15 different topics. But one of the things that he did impress upon was, and you first opened up with, basically he says, hey guys, I'm making a video, you know, it's been a little while, but in reality it really hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
And he's giving you the perspective of time.
Ooh.
Because, you know, the delayed gratification of being in a position, being an investment. Yeah, your investment didn't moon in 2 days. Sorry, bro. You know, sorry you didn't turn into a millionaire in 2 weeks, bro. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Willie B. Long asks, are the UFO Pulse LP rewards auto-dripped into your wallet, or do you have to remove LP to realize the rewards? Thanks. Well, I'm showing my screen, Willie B. Long, and you can see this experimental LP that I have here, and there is 2,272 Pulse in the pending rewards, and all I need to do is claim it right here, and I'm not going to right now. And then if you have more LPs, you can click the claim reward button down here and claim all of them. And you don't need to unpair the LP in order to claim the reward. I hope that answers your question. The Notorious One asks, where can we find burn stats for liquid burn and 808? Thank you in advance. Just go to the 0069 address, and I'll pull it up here in a second, and put the contract addresses in there, and you can see which ones, you can see how many tokens have been burnt.
Yeah, easiest way too is just go to the Block Explorer for the contract and find the dead address.
The dead address, yeah. Okay, I'm going to find the dead address here. Anybody else want to come up and speak? If you need the mic, just ask and I'll hand you the mic.
Yeah, so was he asking what the burn stats are for the amplifiers? Because really the only token that has a lot of burnt bot and burnt supply is the burn token.
Yep, he did. That was the first one. Then he, liquid burn and 808. And I'm getting the burn contract address right now. And let's see. I think you can probably just scroll down and find that burn. Willie Belong, the notorious one. Sorry. This is the dead address, the 00369. I'll paste it in the chat for you. And if you put this in a DBank, you can see all of the burnt tokens. This is the dead address. And you can just scroll down and see the different tokens and how many tokens have been burnt or sent to this address that are unrecoverable. There's pTGC, pDie, UFO, alien, burn. There's burn. 239, well, let's call it 240 billion tokens have been burnt. And it probably started with I'm guessing the supply was 1 trillion. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay. So,
You could look at that. Look at it on Dex Screener. I forget what it was right off the top of my head.
I don't know where to find the quantity of the tokens on Dex Screener. I always have to go to Dex Tools.
It's 999 billion is the supply of all
Okay.
3 of them.
Okay. Yep. So that's a pretty good sum burnt. And you are welcome, Notorious One. We got 9 people on YouTube and 16, 24, about 30 people on Twitter. Does anybody care to come up and give their backstory of how you got into pTGC in about 5 minutes or less? Just gotta raise your hand. I'll hand you the mic. You can also come on YouTube. Nobody has done that yet. Of course, we just started that last Saturday, but man, I almost want to give a ball cap or something to the first person that comes up on YouTube, because that's going to take a little courage. At least it would for me. Who wants to come up to YouTube and come on? I will send you the what do you call it? The StreamYard link in here in the chat.
Yeah, I just touch base on where I feel
You're breaking up, bro.
personally at, and
Breaking up, dude.
Hayden, your voice is a little bit wrecked.
can you hear me all right?
Yeah, better.
Yep.
Hello?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, I was just going to touch base on, kind of where I feel like the whole chain is at. And, it's obviously we're getting close to the bottom. This isn't the bottom already. And a lot of people are getting somewhat negative. And I'm going to actually give an example, because I actually onboarded my cousin to Twitter recently to participate a little bit in the community, even though he's been in PTGC.
Hayden,
and
I don't know.
Hayden.
stuff like that.
Hayden.
I don't know if you can get to a better signal, Hayden, but it's in and out.
Just put your phone
Can
down
you hear me?
somewhere. No.
Yeah, it's not a good connection, man.
Well, he is on vacation, so.
Hey, it don't matter. He's a founder. You don't get to go on vacations like that.
Hey, his wife paid for the trip. Wife's like, I need a vacation. We going.
Oh, trust me, he's on vacation, bro. Paradise right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wifey holds the trump card too, man. So we got to keep her happy somehow.
Oh, bro. You guys know he's a good family man. He's good.
Yeah. He's probably finding a ladder to get up on the roof.
Can you guys hear me any better?
Yes, much better.
Okay. What I was saying is, so I was talking to my cousin. I was saying, hey, come get a little bit more involved on Twitter. Let's just maybe participate a little bit, nothing crazy. So he opened up his Twitter that he hasn't opened up in forever and started looking through, and he was just like, dude, everyone's talking so negatively on Pulse Chain. What is this? And I'm just like, yeah, just ignore it. But that kind of shows you anyone that's hopping on Twitter and looking in the Pulse Chain, all they're seeing is negativity. They're not actually seeing any of the positive things that are happening here. And
yeah,
that shows why the price is where it is any onboard that this is a family member, you know what I mean? So I obviously said like, hey dude, you're good. Like just ignore all that. But in a normal situation, if you're onboarding and you're like, hey, look into this a little bit. As soon as they look into it, it's done. There is nothing positive for them to see at the moment. And I think as a community on Pulse Chain, this needs to change. And that was one reason why I was bringing up, like, there is so much we can do on our own as just a pTGC and UFO ecosystem. There technically is no negativity over here.
no, man.
We've been shoving upwards. We've been plugging along. Like, it's going great. Like, it's actually going great. I do feel bad that the whole entire blockchain is down and a lot of people are actually down on their money. But as far as the sub-community, we're growing. And that's very, very important because we don't have the capability to control all these other situations around us. We don't have control of the blockchain on our own. It's a huge community. It's a lot of people involved. We can do our part, but we can't control it. But I think with pTGC as a sub-community, we actually have a little bit more control as a community of our size. Like, we can put in the work. We can do these spaces. We can get in the trenches and really plug along and bring some positivity to Pulse Chain. So when we onboard people, or even in general, when people just not even looking into pTGC or UFO, just look in the Pulse Chain in general, there is a hope. There's a shining light on the hill, or whatever you want to call it, of positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Because all he sees is, the influencers that are getting algorithmically pushed to him, and there's just bickering about Hex and Pulse Chain going on in the comments, and it's just not a good look. So, I think it's important for us to, like, I'm beyond happy with everything. I'm super excited on where everything's going, and I think we should portray that and let people know that even though the blockchain is currently not the best place, there are good communities and good things being built on this blockchain. And, we have a lot of room to run. That's the nice thing about being on the bottom. There's only up to go.
Yeah.
Hayden, the reality is, man, is that the original individuals that you can classify as OGs or whatever you want to call us, that were here from the beginning, day one with Hex, all the way on through the sacrifices, all the way up to this present day, they're not going to be the people that end up on Pulse Chain. Because when you deploy a blockchain like this, you deploy a global world that you cannot stop, and nobody can stop, and anyone can come on or leave. And so it's a very interesting dynamic, to watch the old, the old guard go through this hard time. You make millions of dollars, and then you lock it, and then it goes down 95% or whatever, and then there's a blockchain, right? But this is crypto, so you can only really just appreciate what's actually being built, and know that you're speculating your ass off in this stuff. So people need to chill out. I think with stuff like Maddie and stuff like this, it's kind of like in a way, like if you're a pastor or a rabbi or an imam or whatever you are, because you've been the guys that were propped up and you were running the things. And so to see certain things going on, I think just disappoints people down here. But at the end of the day, man, it's like everybody knows what category of investing this is. It's the highest risk, high reward, highest level of volatility black hole you can be in. You know? So I think down here, people just really we need to realize we have to do a reset in mindset completely. Okay? We're no longer that. We're now at this point in time with this. And this is the situation. And I think it's important to recognize that, because that's how you re-recognize new opportunity and where Pulse Chain is and where Hex is. And I think it's a smart thing to do, a reset at this point. Just really take an inventory.
Zen, I wonder if you might talk about LP and like the LP pools in pTGC and UFO compared to some of the other tokens on the Pulse network. Like, how healthy is our system, or unhealthy, you know, compared to some of the other tokens? Like if we were trying to steer and somebody into a wise choice of a token on the Pulse network, we'd want to steer them into something that's healthy, that they can get into and out of easily. So talk about pTGC and UFO, if you would, in that regard with the LP pools.
Yeah, well, so pTGC and UFO are actually pretty much completely different to each other based on the LP providing strategy, to where pTGC is pretty much all protocol owned and majority of it's burn, and UFO is all community supplied and for the most part, and they get rewarded via PLS for providing it. Currently, UFO has a lot more LP than pTGC based on it's all the community coming together and providing it. But with pTGC, it's pretty much all protocol owned, where it's ultimately never going to be taken, which is a very, very strong metric, because a lot of other protocols require a lot of the community to provide the LP, which technically makes it to where it could go and come as the individuals decide to go and come. But it's definitely, in my opinion, very, very important to have large liquidity. It also could be a downfall if you're looking for price performance, because you have to pump more money into a liquidity pool if it has more liquidity to make the price go up. So some people don't really necessarily like a ton of liquidity if they're trying to make their price increase. I don't really believe in that theory that much, because when it comes to people taking profit, then really there's only one or two users, or a handful of users at the top that get the money, to where the other 99% actually don't end up with anything. So I don't think that style is really ethical, in my opinion. It just creates a fake pump. And I say fake, and I stumbled on it a little bit, because it is an actual pump. It's just not everyone in that protocol is actually going to get to realize gains there. So I think it's important to have a balance between the amount of liquidity that you have, so you can actually increase the price of the token, while also having enough liquidity to where there's enough for individuals to take profits, and also the system can stay running. And I kind of mean that is like, you want everyone to still be able to feed their families and stuff off of these protocols. You don't want, it's just no one touch their tokens ever, or it goes to zero. You want people to be able to utilize what they make in these protocols and actually realize gains, every so often. But you also you don't want it to be too heavy, to where every time a buyer comes in, it doesn't keep going up in price and making it enticing for users to keep increasing. I personally think with pTGC and UFO that we're sitting in a really good spot. If you look at other tokens, especially at these levels of Pulse Chain, market cap ratio to liquidity, I think they're both very, very strong protocols.
Do you know what the ratio is? market cap to LP for these?
So, looking at my phone right now, UFO has. I don't see the market cap on my phone because I'm on a little
3.08.
but the liquidity is at 3 mil, pretty much
1.3 mil.
3 million.
Yeah, so it's a market cap of 3 million with a liquidity web of 3 million. You don't see that anywhere in any coin, anywhere on any blockchain, bro. That's a fact. I mean, if you do, it's an anomaly. It's like a glitch in the matrix.
At the bottom of Pulse Chain too. I just want to throw that little.
And UFO's liquidity web is a connecting liquidity web that runs through pTGC, and it's just the symbiotic relationship of what will happen with those liquidity pools is just going to be astronomical if it turns around. Because speak to this, Hayden, the instant 4 or 5x, for example, on the USD value of the liquidity pool from here. So you go from a 3 million to 12, 15 million UFO. Boom. Just like that. Like, how many protocols do you guys know that's out there that's got 15 to 25 million in LP? That's what.
I think
That's pulse changes right now.
Yeah, I think UFO only has 1.8. I think it's roughly. That's what my phone's showing. I could be incorrect, but exactly what you're saying. If we get our protocols up to 15 mil liquidity pools, that's as much liquidity as the biggest tokens have. Now, not only Pulse Chain, on other blockchains as well. We are now competing with the biggest alts out there, and that's only with the 5x of Pulse Chain. Let's say Pulse Chain does a 10x.
That is
20x.
a very strong metric, man.
And the thing is we make money off of these liquidity pools being large. Because the larger the liquidity pools are, the more money the R bots have to move to fix. So a standard token, this doesn't necessarily make as much sense to have as much liquidity because they don't make money off of the volume of the whole entire crypto industry moving around. But since our system was designed to make money off of the movement of the market in general, as things go up, as things go down, our bots have to move money, and then we obviously make money off that money. The larger we make these liquidity pools, the stronger we get. And for the users, that's just a plus because you're just sitting there with tons of liquidity to back the tokens you hold in your wallet. You can't really ask for much more, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the bots are adding liquidity while we're sleeping. And as users come and go, they add liquidity also.
Yeah, users will always come and go. The nice thing about this being a farm style is people are incentivized to stay in and add to it. It makes sense for them to add to it. They're not getting paid out in some inflationary token that's going to zero. They're getting paid out in PLS. That is obviously the most interchangeable token pretty much to anything they want if they don't want PLS. So I think the system is working really, really well. And I think the chart against Pulse Chain really shows it.
Yeah. And if I may include you, Zen, in this statement, you and I are working on some community stuff. It's kind of in the initial stages, and I'm definitely not going to get into any details because there's nothing done yet. But what I'm working on, it could be very exciting, a very exciting community project that I have in mind. Don't hold me to it, but as far as you were saying earlier, like everything is dead on the pulse chain. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement and optimism over here in pTGC UFO land. But yeah, there is, and we're not sitting back just being excited. We're moving forward with momentum, and excitement is being created because we're moving forward. And so, yeah, Prairie Banana gets ideas, and he's working on one this week. Also, I touched on it with you earlier, Zen.
Yeah, I love that, Prairie. You're moving and shaking and helping the community out, and I really appreciate that, man.
Absolutely.
I think that something that interests me is just what I'm starting to feel in my position is solidity. It's just solid. It's like a rock. It's what it feels like, and that is important to me in terms of like what I'm actually trying to achieve in this bull market for my family, for my son, for the future, not just shitting around on a blockchain or something like that, so to have a portion of my portfolio on a system that's it's irrefutably doing what it does. And you either see it or you don't. You either looked into it or you didn't. Like what else are you speculating on in that sense? So to have a position like that, and I feel like the mechanics of the system protect itself. It's just a perfect synergy between capital flows. So I'm very excited for where we are with Pulse Chain. I'm excited for Pulse Chain. I'm excited for Richard Hart to be free from bullshit. None of those other things are securities. None of those other things are labeled securities. They're doing ETFs for all these things. Richard never did anything wrong to anybody. So I'm very excited. And the biggest chains in the world are EVM chains. So to me, it just smells like opportunity. It just breathes opportunity. Do you want to have something highly speculative but solid? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
That's what we hold, I believe.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we are finding out, actually.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, we're moving up day after day, practically day after day, up against Pulse Chain.
Right now, we should be having one of those smash the freaking all-time high, like, buy fests is what we should be doing. And just blah, hitting that freaking chart with some Pulse Chain.
It took a while for it to sink into me that when when the Pulse Network did a 4X, pTGC did a 40X. And it's been committed to memory to me. I think I was suffering from cognitive dissonance on that one. And now it's like reality, and I'm excited to see it happen again. And, we just barely got over SAC rate on Pulse, and pTGC did an all-time high. And that's just the SAC rate. Imagine when we do, a 10, 50, 100X above SAC rate. pTGC is probably going to impress mightily.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about, being a volume and volatility based protocol. So when the blockchain picks up in price, naturally the volume and volatility picks up as well. And that in turn makes our system work even better. So if people are looking at our system and thinking it's working well, at the current levels, that means we're working great in an unfavorable environment. Once the environment actually becomes favorable to our design, it makes us just start performing very, very well, which is nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw one of B. Roots' tweets about when he called PDI at like 40,000 market cap or something. And if you would have put in like $6, it would be worth like 34 grand right now or something like that. I don't know if it was $36 or whatever it was. And you just got to wonder, man. You just got to wonder about these protocols doing those kind of X's. I mean, pTGC has already done like hundreds of X's, like a lot of X's,
Like 600 or 800, right?
Yeah, I mean it's gone up there, man, and it's like not stopping. You know what I mean? So, I mean, let's be real, guys. Under a $10 million market cap in cryptocurrency is nothing. It's a freaking micro cap. It's nothing. These meme coins that have nothing. They're just a dog picture. Go hundreds of billions of market cap. It's crazy, man. Like the cap here there is no cap. Gotta love that, man.
Well, with over 11% burn, it's pretty cool.
That's why I like it on PulseChain, man. It just maximizes the potential.
Does anybody have any takeaways, or since it's been a few days since we had that stream on Saturday and B Roots jumped in and gave us some advice on marketing, does anybody have anything that stood out from Saturday? Anything that you're changing? Anything that we should change? I don't want to open up a can of worms, but we can touch on a few things.
Well, I think being on the official is a good thing.
What do you mean being on the official?
You know, doing spaces and getting official channels being more pushed out, and just upping the game of outbound messaging and engagement by the community. Putting together everything that you need to do for potential marketing campaigns like we ran in the past. When everything starts to go parabolic, what does that all look like? I mean, at the end of the day, man, if it goes our way, we don't know anything, but if it goes our way like normal cycles go, the amount of momentum that comes in at the speed at which it comes in, it's just crazy. I mean, we've got X amount of time left. So yeah, it's important to have that stuff ready to go.
Yep. I took one simple step today, and I put an alien in my profile on Twitter. I'm showing it on the YouTube channel.
Alien and bananas.
Yeah. The prairie banana is now an alien. I have been. And we're going to talk about Twitter on Saturday. I have a ton of notes that I've been collecting. I've been studying Twitter a couple months back. I did a study into it. Well, we're going to do a presentation. It's not going to be polished. It's just going to be me talking about Twitter on Saturday, because Saturday we always get a lot more. We have a lot more people here, it seems. So, and one of the things, I'm getting ahead of myself, but one of the things we need to do is if we really, as individuals, want to leverage Twitter, every now and again, we need to look at our profile and see what everybody is seeing. Because when we look at our Twitter, we just glance over everything, because it's all very familiar to us. but people checking out our Twitter aren't glancing over everything. They're going to be looking at some of the details. So we need to do that. And I did that today. I was like, you know what? There's nothing. Well, there's this link to pTGC.com. I think I put that there. Today. And then there was no alien logo. Like Zen has one, Coach has one, Mando. I didn't look at your Twitter, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put me one there too. So I did. Just made an incremental change. And by the way, when you do that, when you change your name like I did today, it nukes your blue check mark until Twitter can review it. So my blue check mark's gone. For now.
Bitcoin's up 2.7% right now on the day, over 6,000 or 60,000.
You said it's over 60,000?
Yeah, East almost 2,800.
Okay.
Yeah, then I kind of want to point out why sometimes, it is good and we have a community to create some sort of uniformity. Like it's a big thing to.
You're breaking up, man.
Have a base. Can you hear me better?
No, you got to get better place. You got to get to a better place, man.
You got to climb a coconut tree.
Needs to get some alien technology.
Guys, we're Starlink when you need it, dude.
He needs to get that Elon. He needs to get that Elon satellite, man.
We're just razzing you, Zen.
Zen, no more excuses, man. Use the Chingon. You gotta get the satellite communicator. Can't be repping aliens and cutting off like that.
Can you hear me better?
There you go.
No. Yeah, better. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, just in general, in not crypto world, in the real world, when let's say you have a team, it's a baseball team, a bowling team, whatever, you guys all match uniforms. It builds team spirit. If you're in a working environment, you usually match uniforms. If you're in the military, you usually match uniforms. In all types of communities, there is forms of everyone, having community colors. And I think if we did want to go that far as, creating something with our profile pictures or even just something in our name, I think that just shows uniformity and it brings a little bit of team spirit to what crypto is.
Right.
If anyone's interested. I don't think there's a negative part to it. I don't think everyone will want to or will be willing to. But if anyone is willing, I think it definitely helps build community spirit. I think also it will help onboard as well.
Yes. We're working on something like that, but we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Right now, if you guys want to put an alien in your profile pictures, that would be a good step. And I got that from Zen today. He's like, yeah, we could just putting an alien in your profile, in your in profile picture. That is a good step.
I did one step further. Sorry, my bad, guys. No, but my domain name has the alien. Gosh, dude, has it right when I turn on the mic and screen.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
All right.
Kids run around.
Yeah. Zen, Crypto Stylist has a question for you. Are you ready for it? Just making sure you got comms.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. How do you feel about the meme coin with utility narrative that B Roots recommended?
I think every person in crypto has a different perspective of what they're looking for. And for me, I'm not necessarily looking for meme coins. So I don't think that hits the same way home for me as 90% of people in crypto. I do think 90% of people in crypto will get more
enthralled by that name personally, because most people in crypto are looking for meme coins. I 100% think that the meta this bull run is most likely to be memes. That doesn't fit with me.
Ryan, you're getting wrecked.
But that can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, but you were wrecked before.
I can jump in and answer some of this for you, Stylist. Zen and I were talking, I think it was just yesterday or today, chatting on Telegram and talking about this very topic. You know, pTGC, the meme coin with utility. Yes, to certain audiences, you know, but to somebody that is strictly after yield, or they're after utility, they're after like a blue chip kind of token, I wouldn't even mention the meme coin thing to them. So it's like we were saying, like, when in Rome, do as the Romans. That's where I'm going to come from with this. I don't know that I'm going to be public with any of the meme coin with utility thing, just because I don't know that there are a ton of people into meme coins, but I'm not a big promoter of meme coins. I prefer the utility thing. But if I come across someone that's all excited about the meme coins, this is a meme coin with utility, or it's like a meme coin. It's memeable, if you will.
Yeah, I think the point is, what is the market, you know? And I think that's Beeroots' main point from that marketing perspective, is just, it's a meme coin cycle, you know? I mean, that is undeniable. So it's almost like, okay, are you playing to your target market or not? And I mean, if you think about it, if everyone on ETH and Sol and all that, I mean, all their capital is just in meme coins, dude. You know, as crazy as that is. But not everybody will buy into a meme coin, pitch.
Yeah.
So you're right, Prairie. You know, people don't necessarily want to hear that shit.
And a lot of people aren't stupid either, and they can see right past that, and they can see the utility of the token, and they can just make a decision based on what they see in the token, regardless of how we categorize it.
Yeah, and I think it's important too that we have a huge community, and not everyone is going to want to talk about the project in the exact same way. Like, some people, I believe, are in this protocol specifically for the alien narrative, the meme narrative of it. Some people are strictly in it for the utility and what's built behind it. So if there's something you specifically love about the protocol, you should personally be highlighting those things. If it's the memeability, if it's the narrative, run with that.
There you go.
Because you're going to attract certain people with that.
That's a very good point.
Especially, you're going to attract people like you that you can relate with, and you can kind of talk about stuff with. So I think that's what's most important. Is the nice thing about this protocol is we kind of fall in both categories. And I think that's the best part of the topic is since we fall in both categories, we can actually kind of flow back and forth from both of them as needed and as who we're talking to.
Exactly. So when you were developing it, Zen, did you have any idea that it was going to be a memeable token?
Well, I'm not a developer, first of all. I'm a founder.
Okay.
I just come up with ideas and have developers put the ideas together for me.
Mm.
But I thought that the alien narrative is personally, I thought, one of the best narratives that hadn't been capitalized on yet. And especially moving forward, I think alien stuff will constantly be happening. If it's UFO sightings, if it's pretend invasions, or who knows. But they're constantly a topic that just keeps reoccurring for the last 100 years. And if you really think about like token narratives, you want to pick stuff that's just reoccurring, that just is always coming up again. Because if you don't pick something that's constantly coming up and coming up and coming up, the narrative dies off, or the meme is over, or the, you know, it's a weekend thing, it's a 2-day thing or a month thing. But if you pick something that's never going to go away, like a dog is never going away.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs have been around forever. Everyone loves dogs. An alien, I won't say everyone loves aliens, but everyone's thought about aliens. I think the narrative, especially alien tech, futuristic, where we are in crypto, where we are in general in this world, I think it's an awesome narrative, is ultimately why me and the team kind of decided to run with that.
There's an alien movie at my in my town at the theater. I'm like, oh, here it is. You're right.
Yeah, it's the new one, man. I gotta go check that out.
Okay. There have been alien movies for decades. And you're right. That was a brilliant move, man. I like that.
Yeah, aliens are all over the place, and it's an interesting topic. You even can like look at Sami. He talks about UFO and aliens constantly, but he's not talking about pTGC and UFO, but he's making YouTube content constantly because the topic is really so interesting, is why he's doing it.
You know, sometimes I feel like talking to somebody and just asking them, you know, you've been staring at pTGC, man, for months, right?
Waiting for an entry.
You're an influencer guy, right? Like, what do you influence people to buy?
Well, he's looking for his 90%.
Laughable. A lot of these influencers, man, they don't say shit. It's funny. Like the only things that are actually legit on chain, and they don't say shit. That's okay, because the machine's still working.
Hey guys, I posted a question, but I didn't see anyone respond to it. So do you mind if I
My
ask
monologue's
something
over
here?
with, man. Sorry.
Black Thumb? Sure. Go ahead, man.
So I just brought over 0.5 ETH from Ethereum to Pulse Chain this morning, and it's just sitting there. I'm ready, looking for an entry point into buying a bunch more pTGC. But I remember a month or two ago when
Yeah, I think that it's interesting on the monthly chart.
Mando? Do you know Blackthorn's talking?
No, let me back out.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. So you brought over half an ETH and is it sitting in Pulse right now?
No, it's just sitting in ETH. Actually, it's still it's wrapped ETH on the Pulse Chain in my wallet, and I'm thinking I'm going to buy some pTGC. But I remember a month ago it went down to point, I don't know, whatever, how many zeros, 0.2, 0.19, and I thought maybe it's going to get back there. So I'm kind of hoping, but I don't think it's going to.
You're talking about
your projections.
When you saw that was the SEC news crash, and it went over about 3 days. And yes, pTGC and the whole market keeled over, and that was an epic dump. Are we going there again? I'm not positive, but I'll let you guys talk about that.
I'm just looking to see if you guys see any dump coming soon, or if we're at the bottoms now. And because I'm going to deploy it in the next, week or a month or whenever. I'm in no rush. I just don't want to get left behind.
All right.
But I don't want to buy when it's on its way down.
Right. Let me interject one thing before other guys jump in and start talking about where the market might be going is, and you've probably already considered this, and this is not financial advice, but what you could do is deploy half of that or a portion, do it in ratio, dollar cost average into the tokens of your choice, hoping for a pullback, but Manda, Zen, what do you got? Coach, what do you guys think about the market right now?
I think October is my month, late October. By then, I think the market should be moving by then.
Well, like if you just look at correlation with like Pulse is kind of like a steady heartbeat, and it's kind of not really like a stable coin, of course, but like it's acting like it, and it doesn't look like the floor is in for, or it might be the floor for Ethereum, but it's overallly we're just looking at Bitcoin's price movement, and if you look at it, it went up. I think it's like 2% today. It's above 60,000. So in correlation with Hart's law, it's also effectively moving up the market with Ethereum, which I would just be looking at the Ethereum chart and then make your assumptions of like the tokens that you want to acquire here or on Pulse chain or whichever chain. That's what I would just say. But historically, like when it comes to like the Bitcoin halving, you just have to take a look back and kind of project of the possible mimic ability of what like the next uptick potential is here on like for the bull run. Moving on to 2025. Like if you can see that from like the last Bitcoin halving, it wasn't until like September, October when that first initial big pop started going into the next year and going into like the next all-time highs of Bitcoin.
So Blackthorn, when I first got into pTGC, it was at the end of January, early February. And the price per token was just about where it is right now, maybe even a little bit higher. And I've dollar cost averaged all the way up and all the way down. I sniped some UFO during that SEC dump a few weeks ago that you referred to, but most of my purchases have been at or above where we are now.
Okay, good idea. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm in no hurry. You don't want to buy it right before it dumps, but you also don't want to get left behind. So probably just dollar cost averaging is the best way to go.
Does anybody else have any comments on that for Blackthorn?
Yeah, I don't really like to, I won't lie, Blackthorn. I really don't like to say like, oh, this is an awesome time, it's not going down, or this is a bad time, it's going down, because I really don't know. If someone knew, then they're probably super rich and they have no problems in this world. But I do look at it that Pulse chain is literally at its bottom. ETH isn't at its bottom. pTGC is mainly tied to Pulse. Personally, I think it's a good DCA in point. If you're worried about it, just DCA in.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Dollar cost averaging helps me sleep a couple different ways.
When you guys were
primarily
sorry,
just
when
because.
you guys were talking,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. When you guys were talking about branding on your profile pics, I was thinking to myself, that's kind of what that Tight Next community's been doing. Everyone's getting these little green circles around themselves, and the Jake guy, who's a big, the founder of it, is really pushing that. And maybe that's something we could implement, purple circles or something.
That's actually a really, really good idea. I'm not opposed to that.
Well,
some of the things that we were thinking about, last year, PTGC is almost a year old. If anybody does know about that, but basically we talked about doing NFTs type of thing for the community and stuff like that. But that is it's only so many people that are gonna potentially do that. So, and I don't know, I'm not a big fan of NFTs or stuff like that. But I don't know, there's other ways of people building out things. And then how does the green thing actually works? I don't even know how to implement something like that.
I'm looking into that. I just sent you a message on Telegram about that. And that's something that we would, in my opinion, need to do as a community, announcing it, getting it all ready, getting the groundwork done, doing it right. Because there are, in my opinion, some things that would need to be updated. And I have a list. Get those things updated, figure out the tech and all that, and just drop it on the community all at once. We all just have a euphoric number of days or a week where it all happens, and then we move on. That's kind of what I have pictured. We just kind of want to proceed on that deliberately. And it's the ball is rolling. I just need to talk to Zen about it too.
I had an idea, and again, maybe it's advanced, maybe we're not to that point, or maybe it's not possible or not doable, but I was thinking about my UFO stakes and how, as UFOs going up, my, LP pool is going down, but my rewards are still the same, or at least they're locked in the contract. And I was thinking, if I wanted to sell that, let's say I wanted to get out, but my position was so valuable, could I NFT that and sell it? Kind of like back to the Hex days of thinking an ICOSA or a HSI, where you could encapsulate your LP position to sell it.
I can somewhat speak to that. Honestly, I've talked to some of the people in the community, inside our ecosystem and outside, because essentially somebody came to me specifying that same exact type of thing, but possibly putting in their PDI position or a teddy bear or a hex or a pulse hex, kind of wrapping it into an NFT. And so instead of selling it on the open market, there would be a possible bid or set price. But all those things and capabilities, with I don't know exactly how it would be doable for the LP position. I've been doing a lot of research and all that kind of stuff, working with this individual. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's a lot of work, and it does cost a good amount of money as well to actually build something like that out. But it is possible, and it's been thought about, at least in my network of people that I know. But that would be very interesting concept, selling 50% of the position, but you don't want to pull that liquidity in those. I would have to talk to more people about specifically that. I've talked about tokens and stuff like that, not like the LP factor. But that's a really interesting concept.
When you do an LP position, you get like a PulseX token or something, right?
You get a PLP token.
Yeah, can that be transferred to person or not?
Correct.
Yes, it can, but I don't know about the smart contract in correlation with the DAT of the smart contract. That's the only
as well as the fees, because they're on transfers as well.
Well, when I'm pretty sure about this, but like when you transfer LPs, that tax doesn't get
that's true
hit because it's already in the LP position. So I don't think you have to worry about that. It's just like the custodianship of that LP position. I don't know. That's something I would have to talk with the devs and stuff like that.
So what would we think is, like, we've seen hex encapsulated stakes, we've seen hedron, we've seen all these different, but in the sense of, does it actually bring something in terms of economic energy to the project, in your opinion?
I can't answer that. I don't know. I was just thinking, if I wanted to get out of my position, but my position was generating so much pulse because I got in really early, maybe I could sell that position to someone else who wanted that pulse yield. Or I wanted to get my $2 million out. Let's say it's $2 million. I want to get my $2 million out, but someone else wanted to buy that pulse position. Could they do so?
Yeah, I would say I actually, as a holder, prefer not that system because I like the fee structure. I don't want any bypassing of fees. If that actually happened.
And I'll just chime in. You can't transfer UFO shares.
There you go.
UFO shares are created when you personally create that stake or that LP. When you add LP, it's pretty much staking those PLP tokens, but it's just not locked or anything. And then it's giving you UFO shares. And if you transfer those PLP tokens to another wallet, the smart contract is constantly checking. And if you don't have those PLP tokens in your wallet and you still have the UFO shares, it will take those UFO shares from you and then send your PLS to everyone else who didn't try to manipulate the smart contract, is how it's designed. So if you send your PLP tokens to another address, the smart contract's going to find that and pretty much make it to where you're not earning PLP or PLS rewards anymore, and any PLS rewards you do have get sent to other users.
Okay, cool. Just an idea. Went through my head.
Yeah, man, you pulled the Megatron defensive on that one.
No, I like the idea though. I don't think it's possible.
And like B-Root said on Saturday, keep it simple.
But there has been conversations about stuff like that. Essentially, it's because of the Lido guy dumping hundreds of millions of PDI onto the open market, and basically that was when the first conversation. It was just maybe if there was a possible way to set up a NFT marketplace or something like that. So it's a very cool thought, and I wish more and more people came up with random different ideas that possibly can be implemented into the ecosystem.
Does anybody have any final thoughts for the evening? Any comments?
Pretty chill night, man.
Mondays tend to be that way. It's interesting. Mondays and Saturdays are they're very different. We actually have quite a few people here on Twitter tonight. A very low count on YouTube and a pretty high count relative to YouTube on Twitter. So we'll meet again on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat station. We might be on a different station, actually. Maybe. If we are, we will let you know.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Sorry if the kids were screaming, but I guess got them calmed down now.
They kept us awake. All right.
$9.72 million market cap. We're literally, before we go, we are like 5% away from a new all-time high on Pulse Chain. So, pump your bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bags are definitely packed. I'm so excited.
Pump that, Derek. Pump it. Pump that shit. Pump that.
Thank you guys so much for yet another amazing space. Like, I know that was a little more
Yeah,
quiet.
Banana, thanks for hosting it. I'm gonna, I guess, get going because I have to catch a plane and fly back home. But I appreciate you hosting it, Mando, Coach, Blackthorn. Thanks for all coming up and talking. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, man. Get back with the family, man. We'll talk to you a little bit later, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, safe travels, Zan.
All right, gentlemen. Have a great week. We'll see you guys Saturday.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah,
Over and
see
out.
you Saturday.
All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.